Alright, hello everyone. This is Rich, and I am doing a request video from, I don't know his YouTube name, good old RJ. Good old RJ, he sent me a email saying he wanted to know all the vampire movies I owned. I didn't realize I had an alright amount of vampire movies, like 15 or 16. I didn't think I had that many. So let's get into it. First one is a movie I've had for a while, but I never really watched. I just got it because of what it is. It's called Ankle Biters. And by that title, you could surmise it's midget vampires. And it's a complete Blade ripoff. But the only difference is all the vampires in the movie that I remember are midgets. Or little people, or whatever, however you want to call it. I mean, it's little people exploitation, apparently. Alright, moving on. Actually, I have another little people exploitation movie. I have two, apparently. This one just has a vampire in it, so I figured might as well put it in. This one's Charles Band's The Creeps, which has Phil Fondacaro right there as Dracula. I haven't seen this movie in a while, but I think it's like all like some of the original Universal monsters going around, like someone summons them, but they fuck up the summons and the summoning of them, and they're midgets instead of being like full, you know, Universal monsters. It was interesting. I know there's like a 3D version out of this movie too, but I don't like that version. Next, I have no idea if this is a vampire movie or not, but there's a guy dressed like an old vampire in it. So, I really don't know. It's called Frightmare. So, I don't know if this will go into this, but it has vampire-y stuff in there or on the back, so I don't know if that counts. Next is a classic vampire movie with Roddy McDowall, Amanda Bearse, and one of my favorite guys too, I forget his fucking name, of Stephen Jeffries, that of Gay Porn, and what's another thing he's done? 976 Evil, You're So Cool, Brewster, Fright Night. Awesome vampire movie. Also has, what's his name in this? Christopher Sheridan from Child's Play. He plays some detective in there. Fright Night 2, which I've only seen once, which has Roddy McDowall in it. He's a character, I forget his name. Peter Vincent, Vampire Killer. So yeah, I've watched this when I got it, but like I have no idea what part 2 is about. I think it's probably like the same story, just not as good. Next is a Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino movie, From Dusk Till Dawn. I really like this film. It also has the full-length feature on here, Full Tilt Boogie 2-disc edition here. So that's pretty cool. From Dusk Till Dawn, awesome. I don't like any of the sequels. I've watched them, but like I don't like them. I know Danny Trejo's in like one or two of them. Next is a movie I've seen again, but I don't remember too much about it. It's called Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, which, from what I remember, it's like Jesus coming back because the vampires are taking over LA or something. And what else? Like, he had to like he gets like a sidekick, this lady right here in the spandex, to like help him out, and he becomes like this like semi S&M-ish looking Jesus. He has like I think a lip ring and stuff. And yeah, he gets like leather pants and stuff, and he kicks vampires' asses. And then he has El Santo right here help him at some time at the end of the movie, and I think it's in a junkyard. One of the best vampire movies in my opinion ever. The Lost Boys. Awesome movie. If you haven't seen this movie and you're a horror fan, a general horror fan, and you haven't seen this movie, I'm sorry to say, but you're a goddamn communist. That's all I gotta say about that. Now, I can understand this one, because the only reason I saw it is to see Cory Haim do a raspy Batman voice. Lost Boys 2, The Tribe. I remember there's a beginning with Tom Savini in here turning into a vampire, which is kind of cool. But I hate Tom Savini anyway, because he's a jerk. Next one is my Rifftrax of Twilight. And this is the only way to watch Twilight, unless you're a 14-year-old emo girl. If you watch it any other way, you're essentially a 14-year-old emo girl, or a tween, whatever they say it these days. Yeah, only way to watch this movie in my opinion. This one had vampires on it, and I remember there's like a vampire in, but I don't know if he does any blood sucking in the movie. I don't remember any. Saturday the 14th? I don't know. Next is a David Carradine, Bruce Campbell movie. It's kind of like a dark comedy with a town full of vampires called Showdown the Vampire in Retreat, which is a really interesting movie. Semi-comedy, horror, spaghetti western movie. It's like good vampires versus bad vampires. It's interesting. I suggest it. Next is a comedy that I know has, what's her name in here? Gina Davis, dressed up as a sexy vampire. So I figured it kind of counted. Transylvania 65000 also has Jess Goldblum in it and Ed Begley Jr. and a very young Michael Richards in this one. Thought that was a pretty cool movie. I haven't watched this movie in a long time, but I know Long Duck Dong is in it, and Billy Drago, I believe his name is. Vamp. Yeah, I think, I forget the main guy that's in this movie. I think he was the guy that was in Fright Nights, but I'm not sure. Let's do these two comedies. I've talked about these before, my DVD updates. Once Bitten, which is a Jim Carrey vampire movie, which is pretty funny, I think. I don't know. And My Best Friend's a Vampire, which has, I forget his name, I believe it is Robert Sean Leonard. You know, they're both like teen angst movies about being a young vampire and all that shit. And lastly is my crappy copy of Versus, which is director's cut, which is pretty good. I mean, if you haven't seen Versus, I totally recommend it. It's a really interesting vampire movie. It's like a weird, going through like time, and they're like in this crazy forest doing vampire crazy shit with swords, and totally recommend it. Almost every one of these movies I recommend. The only one I don't have, which is really good in here, is Nosferatu and Near Dark. Those are the only two I don't have that I recommend. The only one I don't recommend in this whole set is Lost Boys 2. Alright? Hopefully that was a good request for old RJ. See you later. Bye.